Who was Yahya Sinwar? What was his influence in the Palestinian territories?
Well, before his death, he was one of the prime members of Hamas's armed wing. He was imprisoned by Israel for many years and released in 2011, and eventually rose to become the head of Hamas in Gaza.
He'd been in prison and what was released under a prisoner exchange deal?
Under the prisoner exchange deal for the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, who was released in 2011, and about 1,000 Hamas prisoners were also released in return for Gilad Shalit.
Is it possible to establish his popularity or otherwise within the Palestinian population?
Well, he was certainly respected for his resistance to Israeli occupation, and Hamas as a movement is a manifestation of that resistance to Israeli occupation. So he was well respected within Palestinians, whether they respected or supported Hamas or not.
What struck me this morning when I heard this news was it's been over a year since those October 7th attacks. Sinwar is credited with planning those and executing them. We're told that the Israeli Defence Forces have the best intelligence, the best facilities available to them. Did it surprise you that it's taken this long?
Yes, I mean, the fact that it's taken now just over a year to find Sinwar, I think is surprising. But they were going to get Sinwar one way or another.
Am I right in saying there was a bounty on his head?
Certainly, yes.
Yeah. So, and what does it mean to Netanyahu to strike the top figure in Hamas?
Well, I think it's another political boost for Netanyahu. He now can claim that Israel has killed and decapitated the heads of Hezbollah and Hamas and severely degraded the capacity of both movements to resist Israel and its occupation.
Affected their ability, but putting an end to them is another matter. Do killings like that of the Hezbollah leader, this of the Hamas leader, actually bring more people within the ranks of those terrorist organisations?
Well, I think the excessive response by Israel has created a whole generation of fighters for Hamas. Whole families wiped out, children who have been orphaned, natural recruits for Hamas, because, as I said before, Hamas is a manifestation of Palestinian resistance to Israeli occupation, so it can never be truly destroyed.
Which leads me on to the next question, which is succession. I mean, does Hamas immediately come out and appoint, if you like, a new leader, or is that a natural progression?
I'm not sure exactly who would have been a natural successor to Sinwar. There was a leadership structure before October 7 that's been disrupted by the deaths of Ismail Haniyeh and Yahya Sinwar. So I suspect that Hamas will take its time naming a successor, because that successor, I think, will also be a target for Israel. I don't think any of the leadership will have been remaining in Gaza, so they'll all be external to the Palestinian territories, possibly in Qatar, other Arab states. So it will be interesting to see exactly when and if Hamas announces its next leader.
Let's talk diplomacy then. President Biden been very quick to say, OK, this could lead to the beginning of the end. Let's get a ceasefire on the table. Let's get the hostages out. Benjamin Netanyahu seemed to brush that away.
Yes, well, I think Netanyahu wants to continue this war, both against Hamas and against Hezbollah, again to crush any sense of resistance to Israel. It's not only about getting the hostages back. I think it would be another political coup for him if Israeli forces were to find the remaining hostages rather than them being released by Hamas. That would allow Netanyahu another political victory.